What's up, guys? Today I'll be doing a review of the Title Predator boxing shoes. So stay tuned.
Uber up the styles like miles and shit. Like 60s funky worms with waves and perms. Just sending junkie.
Alright guys, so we got the Title Predator boxing shoes here, as you can see, with the TPU upper and that Flex Gum Outsole. Give you guys a nice close look of that. Of the upper, you can see it has this padded mesh tongue. Here's the inside, size 10.5 men. Overall, a really cool looking shoe. Kind of reminds me of football cleats in a way, minus the cleats. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here, and today I'm excited to do a review of these Title Predator boxing shoes. As you can see here, I got mine in the red color scheme. It has kind of a red and black tiger stripe look to it. And Title also makes this in a white, a black, and a blue color. These come in both full and half sizes, which is pretty rare. Oftentimes I see boxing shoes that typically just come in full sizes. They usually don't offer half sizes. So it kind of forces the consumer that purchases them to either choose a smaller or a larger size if they wear half sizes. In this case, these Predators do offer half sizes. The shoe's been out for a couple of years now. It's a, not a new shoe. It's not very old either. It's kind of a, I believe it's been about 2.5 years now. And I've always been interested in these shoes because it's one of the very few shoes that Title has released that uses a TPU upper, which is basically like a plastic polyurethane synthetic upper. Most of the shoes that you see on Title boxing uses the padded mesh nylon kind of material that's more lightweight and breathable than this TPU material. This TPU material you see here, it might remind you of football shoes, or should I say football cleats, where it has this kind of mid to high top look to it with the TPU upper. You see a lot of Under Armour, Nike, other football cleat brands. So my first impression when I first saw these shoes when they were released a couple years ago is they look like football cleats minus the cleats on the bottom. So it kind of has that look to it, which I really like. I dig that look. I think it looks pretty clean and slick, and also reminds me of kind of like the Nike Hyper KOs in terms of just the shape and the kind of outsole they use on this shoe. As you can see here, this TPU material, I'm going to kind of tap on it a little bit. It has kind of a plastic feel to it. It's very rigid. So compared to like those Hyperspeed Elite shoes I did a review on, those Title Hyperspeed Elites, these are kind of have a more rigid feel to it. I feel it doesn't offer the same amount of flexibility, especially right here around the ankle on up. It's a little stiffer. So for those of you that maybe have Ankle injuries need that extra support around the ankle and a little bit higher than that. These definitely offer a good amount of ankle support. You can see that it has a really nice heel cup to it. And just the overall design is really attractive. It has that tiger stripe material. You can also see it has a little bit of a texture to it. It's kind of, I don't even know if that's what I would even call that design. It's kind of like a web, if you want to call it. But you can actually feel it. It's kind of embossed into the TPU. So you can see, I believe the TPU stands for thermoplastic polyurethane. You have the Title Boxing T logo right there, as well as on the front right there. It's kind of an angle near the toe box. So all around you can see that. It has a decent arch support. I wouldn't say is extra high there. You can see that it has a flexible gum outsole. So it's really good, nice and grippy. You can see that it has a good amount of grip. I like how they roll the outsole on to the ball of the foot. You can see it kind of comes up there and it comes up on these two sides right here. And that's to help with lateral movement. And it goes all the way back to the heel. In terms of technology with boxing shoes, boxing shoes are really meant for you to have a lot of feedback through the floor. So you're not going to get, it's not like a running shoe or a basketball shoe where you have a lot of cushioning, because the more cushioning you add to the shoe, it's going to take away from the feel and feedback of the floor beneath you. I mean, boxing is really important for footwork, to be able to feel your feet underneath you and also to feel the details of the floor. So when you're moving, you're pivoting and bobbing and weaving, you want to feel planted to the ground, and that's really important. So you can see there, these shoes actually run true to size as well. I wear size 10.5. Typically, I usually go half size up, because a lot of times I find that boxing shoes run a half size small. So if I get 10.5, I typically get size 11. But in these shoes, I took a chance on it and I got the 10.5. And surprisingly, they fit well. They fit true to size. So if you have normal, even to wide feet, I would just order the size that you usually get, and it should fit you really well. And at first I was a little concerned based on the photos before I bought these shoes, that this area right here across on this toe box, usually for myself, this right here, this outer edge, and on the inner part right here is where I find a lot of pressure on my foot. And a lot of times because the material isn't very flexible, or they have some kind of stitching or hard plastic right here, and it just doesn't allow your foot to expand a little bit. And one thing to keep in mind too is when you're working out, when you're sweating, you're getting hotter, your extremities begin to swell. So if you ever notice that when you start getting hot or you start sweating, your fingers start to swell up, and so do your feet. So you have to keep that in mind. When your feet swell up, they swell up and get a little bit bigger, which can cause that. And then you have this padded mesh tongue with the Title logo that's stitched on there. I do like the fact that they use this little lace rope, or should I say this little lace ladder that you can loop your laces in, which basically keeps the tongue from dropping down, and it really helps interlock your foot for lacing. So you can see the padded tongue throughout. You do have a polyester lightweight satin liner on the inside of the shoe itself with the Title tag, size 10.5. And then on the inside, you also do have, which I do, as a feature I really like, is the fact that you have a removable insole. So you can see here, Title Boxing doesn't offer you much of anything. It's just basically a 1/4-inch sliver of foam that just slide in there. So if you have your own custom insoles, custom orthotics, if you have just really weird feet and you need that extra cushioning, the good thing is that you can take these insoles out and put in your own insoles. Typically, I like to do that myself. I usually get some from Walmart, some Dr. Scholl's, or I forgot the other ones, the other brand, but I usually get those and I trim them and then I put them in my boxing shoes, and I find that, I can train in more comfort. If your feet are a lot more comfortable in the shoe, you're gonna want to feel like you train longer and more effectively than if you have a pair of shoes that continue to bother you while you train. So as far as the comfort wise, I think these these shoes are comfortable. They're not my favorite in terms of comfort, mainly because of the TPU material that comes up right here. I feel that it is flexible, but it is pretty stiff. I'm more of a fan of the kind of that nylon polyester made shoes like the Japanese Mizuno style, where they're both lightweight, but the upper is a little bit more flexible. And I think that's because I have wide feet and I just like a little bit more flexibility in the shoe. Not to say that this doesn't have flexibility. This just feels like a much more solid shoe. So depending on your feet, you might be looking for that. Maybe you want that extra support. You want to make it feel like your foot's in a cast. And this is definitely what you feel with these shoes. And the analogy that I made, these kind of being like football cleats, is with football shoes and football cleats, they need shoes that have a lot of stability and support because they're making a lot of cutting movements, a lot of lateral movements, and they can twist their ankle at any given time and tear something in there or sustain an injury in football. So that technology is kind of trying to transfer it over into this boxing shoe, where I don't necessarily, feel that you need that much support in a boxing shoe. I think you need a little bit more flexibility. If you see some of the older school boxing shoes, they're just they're either just a leather or a blended leather upper. And technology-wise, there's not really much to them. They just have that, a rubber outsole, and that's it. And a lot of boxers just like that old traditional feel. But for a shoe that has more technology built into it, I really do like these. I like the fact, again, that these fit true to size. And the price point on these are very good. Originally, Untitled was selling these for $99. They've knocked down the price now to $75. I don't know if that is temporary or if that's a permanent discount, but they're currently selling this on the Untitled website for $75 for a shoe of this quality that has the materials that they use in here. It's pretty lightweight. $75 is a really good deal in my opinion. So if you're looking for a shoe that you need some stability with, that fits true to size, that can fit wide feet, then these would be definitely a good choice for you. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Untitled Predator boxing shoes. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.